Only a handful of actors have shocked the whole profession with a single role. An example of this is Sandahl Bergman. Her role as Valeria in Conan the Barbarian is another one that you might recognize. Her role in this 1982 adventure film catapulted her to stardom. It was all down to her magnetic screen presence, if you must know. In this role, which she co-starred in with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the famed actor and legendary bodybuilder, Bergman became a cult favorite. After this, Arnold went on to star in further box office hits like Predator, Terminator, and Commando. However, following his memorable performance in Conan the Barbarian and gaining global recognition, his co-star Sandahl nearly vanished. However, Sandahl's unexpected disappearance begs the question, what became to her? Get ready for a wild ride as we delve into the reasons behind the post-Conan the Barbarian lack of Sandahl Bergman appearances. Sandahl Bergman came into this world in Kansas City, Missouri on November 14, 1951, to parents Justice and Frances Bergman. Of her 3 siblings, she was the firstborn. She was a Shawnee Mission East High School graduate. It was clear even as a young child that Sandahl had a deep love for the stage and dance. It was a brilliant move on their part to sign her up for dance lessons. This occurred while she was only 5 years old. Sandahl was an object of study. She possessed an extraordinary athletic build and stood 6 feet tall. We also think that's the main reason why she had so many fans. Her passion for dancing shone through. She had extensive training in ballet, tap, and jazz, and she was a born performer. My enthusiasm and competence only increased as I got older. Even though she didn't start acting in local theaters till she was a teenager. Sandahl said that she began her professional career at the tender age of 14 in an interview with Mark J. Gross. When she was 14 years old, she received her equity union card. Playing the role of a professional actor or actress requires this card. That means Sandahl was just 14 years old when she received permission to work on equity performances. Moving to New York, though, was when things really started to heat up for her. One may understand Sandahl's decision given that New York was the epicenter of the performing arts during that era. A lot of hardship and difficulty befell her in her early days in New York. She was forcibly removed from her New York residence. It was her failure to adhere to the lease requirements that caused this to occur. She had already rented out her apartment to someone else. She was going through a difficult period. It was at her audition for the musical Pippin that everything changed. The experience was a watershed moment in her life. The great Bob Fosse was the choreographer for Pippin. At the time, working with Fosse seemed like a pipe dream because of all he could provide. Bob appeared in several well-known films and television shows. The American musical Chicago is considered one of his finest compositions. It has maintained its fame till now. Cabaret, another film he produced, was a smashing success. Not only was he highly experienced, but he was also a choreographic master. Sandahl soaked up all the information she could and gained a wealth of knowledge from Bob. He became her tutor after she developed immense regard for him. As a result of Bob's casting of Sandahl in the musical Pippin, Sandahl rose to fame. She was in great demand as word got out about her charm and talent. She later went on to star in Chicago and A Chorus Line, 2 of Broadway's most beloved musicals. A notable musical by Sandahl was A Chorus Line. Being something that dancers aspired to at the time, this was monumental. Sandahl portrayed the gorgeous and seasoned dancer Judy in that. The grueling rehearsals helped her become more resilient. Since it was so successful and catapulted her career to new heights, it marked yet another watershed moment in her life. Although she achieved phenomenal success on Broadway, her ambitions went beyond that stage. The film How to Pick Up Girls was Sandahl's first foray into the film industry. However, everything changed for her with her second film. Directed by Bob Fosse and based on his life experiences, All That Jazz was released in 1978. In this film, Sandahl was able to perform for a wider audience, showcasing her incredible dancing abilities. In terms of poise, agility, and charisma on stage, Sandahl was unmatched. The reason Sandahl is so popular now is because this attracted the attention of one guy in particular. Her performance in All That Jazz left the film's director, Conan the Barbarian, in awe. He cast her as Valeria without more ado. Among the many legendary films of the 80s, Conan the Barbarian stands out. And a legendary figure, Valeria was born from this legendary film. Sandahl reached a career high when she landed the part of the stunning and ferocious warrior Valeria. Because the role called for an actress with a rare combination of fragility and strength, Sandahl Bergman more than delivered. Choosing her was a brilliant move. She lived up to the expectations of the film's director John Milius, who had cast her to play the lead role. But it wasn't easy at all to make the character a success. Rigid training was a need for Sandahl. She reveals that she was compelled to study kendo, a style of martial arts that involved combat using bamboo swords. However, Sandahl actually wielded actual swords. Really actual swords, that's right, I can only imagine the dangers involved. Additionally, she nearly severed her finger at one point. You can see how seriously she took her work and the parts she played, even if they were dangerous from this. Due to the lack of a stunt double, she had to also learn martial techniques. No stunt double could have matched her height and athleticism, so it was very clear. The filming of the many memorable moments in Conan the Barbarian was no easy feat. From Almeria to Spain, the film was shot in many rough locales. There was also the difficulty of actually recording the combat sequences. It was taxing on my body and mind. The infamous Tower of Serpents scene presented the greatest obstacle. All sorts of physically demanding things were required of her, including fighting and climbing. Sandahl performed those scenes justice despite all these dangers. Our heroine was courageous and resolute. As this proves, Bergman had never before acted in an intimate sequence on film. Even though it was probably uncomfortable, Bergman was excellent. These difficulties weren't without their share of joy, though. She and her co-star Arnold became close during filming. On and off set, they were having fun. Additionally, Bergman discusses the enjoyable activities they engaged in during breaks and the experience of collaborating with a seven-time Mr. Olympia. Towards the film's conclusion, Sandahl's situation improved significantly. Even though she went on to win the Golden Globe, the fame she received was more valuable. She became a worldwide celebrity with a devoted fan following when the film's success catapulted her into the limelight. For any actress aspiring to play a female warrior or action part, Valeria remains the gold standard. Overall, the video demonstrated her unwavering commitment to her craft and her willingness to go to extreme lengths to achieve her goals. She is very stunning. However, the biggest surprise was when, following its phenomenal success, Sandahl virtually vanished. After Conan the Barbarian, what became of her? We'll have to see. After her brilliant turn as Valeria, Bergman went on to star in 13 television series and 22 films, although none of them were as successful as Conan the Barbarian. Although Sandahl's star never quite rose to the same level after then, she remained a well-known and esteemed figure in the business. Sandahl kept making appearances in action and adventure films throughout the 1980s. Red Sonja's Queen Jedrin was one such memorable role. Since she was playing the villain this time, it was a stark change from her previous roles. Further, she was also spot on. Think about how talented she was as an actress. She could play both heroes and villains, or even action and romance parts. Among her species, Bergman was definitely unique. Let's go into Red Sonja a little farther. That was a major accomplishment for Bergman. Let's go over the initial offer that Sandahl received to play the heroine. However, she preferred to showcase her acting chops by playing the villain because it was a new challenge. Queen Jedrin, the antagonist, was not like other villains. Makeup and a unique outfit were necessities for the part. To ensure it was a perfect fit for both Bergman and the action sequences she performed, she spent a considerable amount of time in the wardrobe department. Additional difficulty came from the headpiece. It was already difficult enough that she had to wear all these accessories and endure long hauls while doing so. When it came to difficulties, applying cosmetics was the worst. In the end, she succeeded in looking like the real Queen Jedrin, even though it took her hours of practicing. Hell Comes to Frogtown, a science fiction film that came out in 1988, was her next major film role after Red Sonja. Renowned wrestler Roddy Piper co-starred with her in this film. Bergman portrayed Spangle, a government agent. It wasn't just Bring on the Night and Deadly Heat where we saw Sandahl. Even though they didn't gross a ton of money, Sandahl's performances in these films cemented her place in action film history. We saw Bergman in more than just movies. Among her many television appearances are those in Freddy's Nightmare and Swamp Thing. Because of Swamp Thing, Sandahl was able to make an appearance in a horror film. Her performance as a character ensnared in a cabin by a ghost in Freddy's Nightmare further wowed moviegoers. Her acting chops allowed her to delve into more dramatic and tense territory. When Bergman joined Robert Downey Jr. in the film as a singing detective, we saw her last in the character. Picture this: a 52-year-old woman's irresistible charisma enchants the crowd. Except Sandahl, who is capable of that. At 52 years old, she stunned everyone. Regrettably, that was the final screen appearance by Sandahl Bergman. Do you not want to know her current and past activities after she left the film industry? So let's go on to that. Sandahl has maintained an incredibly low profile. Things are kept under wraps regarding her romantic life and relationships. However, Sandahl did had her share of passionate encounters in her younger years, typical of numerous A-list Hollywood actors and actresses. While rumors about her love life circulated, details regarding her private life remained unknown. Her marriage to Josh Taylor is the one piece of information that has been confirmed. Actor Taylor had a successful career in the 80s and 90s, appearing in series such as The Hogans, now known as The Hogan Family. He has starred in other films such as Barnaby Jones and The $6 Million Man. Sandahl and Josh's marriage did not endure long, unfortunately. Divorce was finalized not long after the wedding. No mention of the divorce date has been made here. You can get a sneak peek of Sandahl's clandestine life from this. For a year, talk show presenter Charlie Rose was supposedly her boyfriend. Rumors have started circulating about her rumored romance with Tay stuntman Terry Leonard, although neither of these have been officially proven. Even though keeping secrets is next to impossible in this day and age, Sandahl has accomplished just that. Her charitable activity is also a part of everything. Unfortunately, nothing good ever truly dies. Through our investigation, we have learned that she is also a generous donor. Now we can go on to that. When we tell you about her charitable and philanthropic activity next, you will see that she is an incredible lady. When we observe Sandahl performing charity tasks, it's clear that she believes in giving back to the community. So far, we have gathered some facts, even though she does not divulge all of her nice deeds. Those in need have been supported by Sandahl. She has been very generous with her time and money to several charitable trusts. Fighting AIDS is one of the trust's missions. A connection to AIDS Project Los Angeles exists through Sandahl. People living with HIV/AIDS can rely on these guys for free care and assistance. Sandahl demonstrates her goodness by making a contribution here. That is not the last chapter of her heroic actions. She is also making a difference in the battle against myeloma. Cancer of the blood is known as myeloma. Extreme weakness, trouble urinating, and pain in the bones are some of the symptoms of this terrible and excruciating disease. Because it requires chemotherapy and a cell transplant, the treatment is also rather costly. That is out of reach for many people. Sandahl steps in to try to assist individuals in this situation. An enormous amount of money has come from Sandahl to the International Myeloma Foundation. It is unclear at this time whether Sandahl's motivation for joining this group was based on her own experiences. Although many famous people join such groups for private reasons, Sandahl's involvement remains unsubstantiated. For all her altruism, Bergman truly deserved recognition, and she received it. The 1995 Honorable Angel Award went to Sandahl Bergman. Recipients are those who have made significant contributions to the community. Her countless hours of hard work were justly rewarded. In her acting career and in life, Sandahl has set a high standard for future heroines to follow. She shows that being famous isn't all about money and fame. We think this part of her is deserving of the same level of admiration as her accomplished professional life. However, what is Sandahl currently up to in her life? She avoids controversy, award ceremonies, and interviews like the plague. However, she does occasionally meet her followers at science fiction gatherings. At both the San Diego Comic-Con and the Houston Space City Con, She was recently spotted. You might mistake her for an 80s heroine. She probably doesn't have any modern-day admirers. Except that's not accurate. Because of the impact she had, Sandahl continues to have admirers. And she thoroughly enjoys engaging with them. One time she had a flat tire, and she tells the story. She had been out for much too long after leaving the movies. When Sandahl's tire went flat, she contacted her sister and had her come get her. She later called the mechanic to introduce herself and explain the situation with her vehicle. Because he assumed Bergman was playing a joke on him, the mechanic reprimanded her for not believing her. His belief was shaken, and he was only rattled when he saw her registration. Upon returning to her automobile the following day, Sandahl noticed these posters adorning his garage wall, a clear indication of his immense fandom. Members of the mechanic's family portrayed the roles of Conan the Barbarian and other characters from Sandahl's film. Sandahl enjoyed herself much with her admirer after seeing that. She seems genuinely appreciative to her admirers and modest about her fame from what she says. One of E.K.I.N.E.'s members is Sandahl. Her portrayals were second to none, and none could equal the charisma that our heroine exuded on television. A lot of useful information may be gleaned from that. What she showed us is that if we put in the work, our craft will reward us well. With that, we'll be taking a break till the next video. In the meantime, please share the scene from any film starring Sandahl Bergman that you love. For tuning in, I am grateful.